What's up guys? You clicked on this video, so I'm assuming you're here to learn how to kill this big blue bastard in front of me. I like to explain everything in my guides, so if you're a clueless noob, you came to the right place. Before we get started, a quick word from our sponsor.
We're all gonna die together out here. You should have come here.
Nah, I'm just kidding. If you watch this guide all the way through, you should be perfectly fine. However, I watched a guide before attempting this boss and still died 6 times in the first night, so don't be frustrated if you mess up. So, this big blue bastard is called Vorkath, and as you probably know, he's one of the bosses you have to kill in the new Grandmaster quest Dragon Slayer 2. He's a powerful, apparently undead blue dragon. He resides on this island way over here called Ungeo. It's a pretty far distance from Relica, but fortunately the boat ride after the quest only takes a few seconds. After the quest is complete, you can come back to the island and kill Vorkath as many times as you want. This isn't a guide for Dragon Slayer 2, but Vorkath's mechanics are the same both during and after the quest, so it'll help either way. So why kill Vorkath? Well, upon release, Vorkath was mainly killed for the new best-in-slot ranged cape item, Ava's Assembler. Vorkath's head, Ava's Accumulator or 5,000 coins, and 75 mithril arrows are taken to Ava and drain her mana to make the Assembler. It's far superior to both Ava's Accumulator and the Ranging Cape. There's really no reason to wear the Ranging Cape unless you're going for max defensive bonus while still having the ammo recovery effect of Ava's devices. As you can see, the Assembler doubles the ranged attack and mage defense bonuses of the Accumulator and adds +2 ranged defense and +2 ranged strength over its predecessor. The Assembler is currently the only cape item in the game to provide a range strength bonus. On top of its superior stats, it also has an 80% ammo recovery rate compared to the Accumulator's 72%. The chance of normal projectiles breaking in old school RuneScape is 20%, which means that the Assembler will never drop any recoverable ranged item on the ground. Say goodbye to picking up those precious enchanted diamond and ruby bolts after a kill. The other reason for killing Vorkath is, like many other bosses, the money. Initially, Vorkath was pretty terrible money considering the effort involved, coming in at around 500,000 GP per hour. However, a few days after release, Jagex heard the complaints of the players, and his loot table was buffed significantly. Here's his drop table taken from the wiki. In addition to his overall drops being improved, players also get 2 rolls on the table now instead of 1. Now one of the most profitable solo bosses in the game, Vorkath can make you between 1 million and around 3 million GP per hour. This of course depends on how fast you kill him and how many kills you can attain in one trip to the island. Here's the loot I received from 20 kills of the boss after the update. To determine how much money you can make per hour, I killed Vorkath for 60 minutes as efficiently as I could. I killed him 13 times within the hour using the setup that I'll show next. Using the average of 135k per kill that we got, 13 kills comes to over 1.7 mil per hour. Not bad at all for my account build and getting 1 kill per trip. I could improve efficiency by using the advanced method that I'll show later in the video and probably get a couple extra kills, pushing it to over 2 million GP per hour. That's way better than Zulrah. And if your account is a maxed main, you could stay for multiple kills and earn probably around 3 million an hour if you have the Relica teleport, which I'll explain in a bit. Alright, enough information, let's get started on the guide. There are several ways to get to the island of Ungeo where Vorkath is. The best method would be to teleport to Relica using the Fremennik sea boots, but there's a slight problem. In order to get more than 1 teleport to Relica per day, you have to have done the Fremennik Elite Diary, which requires some pretty significant things like killing each of the Daganith Kings and God Wars bosses, as well as having 77 Slayer, 75 Crafting and Agility, and 78 Rune Crafting, assuming you get the maximum boost for those skills. Using the Relica boots, it took me roughly 13 seconds from the time I teleported to arriving at Ungeo. The second best method is actually to teleport to your house and then go through a Lunar Isle teleport. Then just talk to any NPC or normal banker and they'll send you back to Relica. This method is around 5 seconds faster than the third method, which is just going through a Waterbirth Island portal and then traveling with Jarvold. If you don't have access to either of these portals or the Fremennik boots, the last method is to move your house to Relica and run from there. It's the same speed as going through the Waterbirth portal, but you lose a lot of run energy this way. This guide is geared toward Berserker accounts, so the gear setup I'm showing is naturally a Berserker setup. You'll want to Dragon Warhammer with the Rune Defender for its special attack to make Vorkath much easier to kill. It is still possible to kill him without lowering his defense, but it's certainly much more difficult as we have a low defense level and crappy armor. If you're a 75 attack Berserker, you should still use a Dragon Warhammer. I was able to test out the BGS thanks to a friend letting me use his account. I did 50 runs each with the Dragon Warhammer and Bandos Godsword and recorded and analyzed the data. The Warhammer with the Rune Defender is marginally better, and it would have an even bigger edge over the BGS on accounts with access to a Dragon Defender. However, the BGS is only marginally worse than the Dragon Warhammer, so if you can't afford the latter, the BGS is just fine. I'll release the exact data, results, and proof in my next video if you're skeptical. I was skeptical about the BGS being better, which is what led me to working on skill and quest requirements for a good 2 to 3 weeks on an account that isn't even mine. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to test both weapons on a maxed account with piety, but I'm thinking the Warhammer would still be better. If you have a maxed account I could use for testing purposes, please comment below and I'll send you a message. For the other gear, you're going to want full void with the ranged and melee helms, an Ava's device, a toxic blowpipe with preferably adamant or better darts, a blessing for extra prayer bonus, blessed dragonhide boots, and a salve amulet EI. The EI means that it's been enchanted at Tarn's Lair and imbued at Nightmare Zone. It provides a 20% boost in damage and accuracy to all combat types when fighting undead monsters such as Vorkath. The bonus stacks with Void armor, which is why Void plus the amulet is better than using a Slayer helm while on a Blue Dragon's task. An imbued Tyrannical ring helps a lot with landing our Warhammer specs, but if you're using a BGS, I'd probably take an imbued Berserker ring to help you hit higher. An imbued Archer's ring should be used during the fight to greatly reduce kill time. Vorkath can be killed with a budget setup like a rune crossbow with ruby and diamond enchanted bolts if you have a high enough range level. It does get difficult if you don't have a Dragon Warhammer or a BGS to spec with though, because poor RNG can make you have to leave the fight early if you hit a lot of zeros. The Dragon Hunter crossbow was somewhat recently buffed, now doing a whopping 30% bonus accuracy and damage to all dragons. I did have a chance to try it out and compare it with a toxic blowpipe. Gathering data with 10 kills, a DHCB took about 10 seconds longer per kill on average, but I also had to teleport away from the fight twice due to running out of food. RNG plays a huge role in kill times when you use a DHCB, because if you hit a lot of zeros, you might be in the fight for like 4 minutes and run out of food. On a main with Rigor and a Dragonfire Ward or Twisted Buckler, however, the crossbow would undoubtedly be a better choice. On a Berserker account, I feel like it relies too heavily on RNG. It can either give you the best kill time you ever had, or make you teleport away from the fight. However, it is considerably cheaper to use the Dragon Hunter crossbow. Alright, now for the inventory setup. You'll want 2 prayer potions to be on the safe side, an anti-venom or anti-venom plus, a ranging potion, a super combat potion or super attack, and a normal combat potion to increase the chances of your special attacks hitting, and any of the anti-fire potions. I'd highly recommend using a super anti-fire for your first few fights at least until you get used to Vorkath, as it'll reduce quite a bit of damage taken from the boss's fire breath attacks. You'll want a rune pouch to save some inventory space, filled with runes for the Crumble Undead spell and house teleports. High level food like monkfish or sharks should be used as primary food, and bringing some Karambwans is a good idea as well. I always bring 3 Sarah Brews and a super restore just in case Vorkath decides to be a dick. Let's go over Vorkath's mechanics before blindly heading into the fight. This boss has 6 different non-melee attacks, all of which you'll need to pay attention to. One of them is his ranged attack, which is a spiky ball-looking thing that shreds through our crappy armor. Most damage you take throughout the fight will be from this attack. Another simple attack of his is his purely magic one. This is a blue ball that deals no damage while you have Protect from Magic activated. His last simple attack is pure orange Dragonfire. Using an anti-fire potion and Protect from Magic reduces the max damage to about 20, and a super anti-fire with a prayer makes it around 5. Vorkath has 3 attacks that I would consider a semi-special attack. One is his pink Dragonfire based one that turns off your prayer, which maxes a 15 with an anti-fire potion and Protect from Magic enabled. Be sure to turn your quick prayer button back on right after this hits you, because some other attacks hit in the 50s without Protect from Magic. Another Dragonfire burst of his is the venomous green Dragonfire, maxing at around 10. This inflicts venom starting at a base of 6 damage that goes up by 2 every time it hits you, which is every 18 seconds. Hence, bringing an anti-venom potion is definitely important. The last but most important semi-special attack is the fireball, which he volleys into the air. You need to be most careful about this one because if it lands on you, it'll instantly kill you regardless of protection prayers, anti-fire potions, and hit points. If it lands on the square next to you, it hits half the damage, around 64, which is still potentially fatal. All in all, avoid this fireball at all costs. The boss also has 2 special attack phases which he activates in an alternating pattern every 6 attacks. You don't ever know which one he'll use first, but you can always be sure that the next special will be the other one. This one is an icy white dragon breath that does no damage but freezes you in place. Vorkath then regurgitates the zombified spawn like a scene from the Alien franchise movie, and it will attempt to kamikaze you, doing up to around 60 damage. This is when you'll want to cast Crumble Undead on it as soon as possible. The spell kills it in one hit every single time, so it's your best bet against the spawn. I always turn off my prayer as soon as I'm frozen to conserve prayer points, and turn it back on again once the spawn is dead. The other special attack phase is the tough one. It's responsible for most of people's deaths when they're new to the boss, so you definitely want to pay attention to this part. During this phase, Vorkath spits up a multitude of poisonous pools that you want to avoid. If you walk over them, they deal up to 10 damage and heal Vorkath for the amount that they damage you. What makes this phase so difficult is the fact that you have to be constantly moving to avoid the rapid mini fireballs that the boss shoots at you every single tick. These can do around 40 damage each, which means a single 2-second lag could kill you. Damage adds up fast during this phase. Being brand new to Vorkath, I highly suggest you just turn off prayer and start walking around while eating food to near full hit points if necessary. There's actually a key to never taking fireball damage during this phase. Not taking damage isn't as simple as just constantly moving because a fireball can still hit you if you reach the square that you clicked on, even if you keep moving. The key is to click a new tile every time that you get close to the one that you're currently heading to. As long as your character's destination changes by the time you reach the square you clicked on, you won't take damage. So just remember to keep clicking new tiles that avoid going through poison pools and you'll be fine. Alright, now that we've reviewed all the attack types, let's step into the ring. Before we get into the fight though, make sure your quick prayers are set up correctly so that you can easily toggle them. For us Berserkers, they should be Protect from Magic, Eagle Eye, Steel Skin, and Preserve if you'd like. Once you're ready, head into the fight area. Drink your combat potions, turn on your spec, and poke Vorkath to wake him up. Then turn on your melee prayers and unload both Bandos Godsword or Dragon Warhammer specs. If the DWH misses twice or the BGS doesn't hit above 50, teleport out, restore your specs and prayer, and try again. Once you've sufficiently reduced his defense, switch to your range setup, turn on your quick prayers, and drink a ranging potion. Vorkath will launch 6 attacks at you starting right after you wake him up, so just be sure to pay attention and use the appropriate actions to counter them. Drink an anti-venom if he envenoms you, re-enable quick prayers if he saps them, dodge the fireballs of death, kill the zombified spawn when he freezes you, and remember to keep clicking new tiles during the poison phase. The poison and ice special attack phases make for good opportunities to heal up to full hit points, so keep that in mind as well. Once you're able to do all these things, Vorkath should become simple to you. After you've gotten used to his mechanics, you may even be able to start minimizing your kill times and become more efficient. The main thing you can do to greatly reduce your fight times is what is referred to as the Moonwalk method, originally discovered by Wolfyz. This only works with the toxic blowpipe and damage is halved during the poison phase, but it's definitely worth doing. It makes my kills 30 seconds to 1 minute faster than without moonwalking. If done right, you can do a significant amount of damage while never getting hit by the fireballs. This is an advanced method and I've died countless times while learning and trying it, so try not to rage too hard if it doesn't go so well for you. In order to get started, you first have to find a gap in the poison pools. Start walking sideways as soon as you see him spit up the poison and begin the phase, because there will always be one that lands on you where you're standing. Look for a column of tiles with no poison up until at least this row here. If you've got an open space, make your way to the southern edge of the fight arena. Once you're close, click on Vorkath to attack him. Your character will begin walking up to get into the blowpipe's attack range. As soon as a blowpipe is raised to fire, double-click near the southern edge of the arena directly south of you. Then click Vorkath again about 1 tick later, which is 0.6 seconds, and repeat the process. After your first attack and retreat, it's much easier to keep it going. The timing is the hardest part about this method. You need to click between Vorkath and the ground pretty fast, but clicking too fast will make you die. A good rule of thumb is that you need to be clicking on the ground or Vorkath every single tick. Vorkath shoots these fireballs on every tick also, so you can use the sounds of him launching them to get an idea for the timing. Aside from that, it's all just trying to get a feeling for the rhythm and speed. Once you've mastered the Moonwalk method, there are a couple other small things you can do to minimize your fight times. For one, you can try to only eat during the Icebreath phase. You're frozen in place anyway, so you might as well heal up in between actions. The other tactic is to move once when Vorkath shoots his fireball, shoot him, and move again, instead of just walking to a safe spot. You can get 2 more blowpipe shots in doing this. Well, that's all the information you need to efficiently kill Vorkath. Once you master all these methods, you'll find yourself getting kill times between 90 seconds and 2 minutes with little difficulty. I hope this guide was helpful to you. If it was, feel free to smash that like and subscribe button, or even post a comment to let me know if I should keep developing this channel. What follows is a full clip of the fight with a recommended setup and strategy in case anyone was looking for one. I know this guide came out super late, but I put a ton of time into it, and I figure it's better late than never. In any case, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Wow.